everybody, and welcome to Partner News Live. Thanks for joining us today. Also with us today is Shelley Stab. Shelley, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine. How are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. Do you know what? I can't believe the weather. Here we are, February the 11th, and it's like summertime out there. I'm up in the Pacific Northwest. So for some reason, this poor vortex has been avoiding us completely. But you've had storms and cold weather down in Texas, have you not, Shelley?
Yes, it was really one day it came in one
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
day, and then it really didn't. I think everybody thought it was going to be worse. We
Yeah.
only got 4 inches of snow, so we were good up here, but
Oh,
down
my
south was
goodness.
worse because they got the bad ice.
Yeah, that as well. I mean, it seems to be down the entire eastern seaboard. In a few minutes, we're going to have our guest speaker from Adaptive Networks. His name is Bernard Breton. He's in Ottawa, and they've been getting it really, really bad. So, I mean, it's the entire East Coast all the way down. Incredible, weird
Wow.
weather. But I mean, my family's thoroughly enjoying it. It's been like summertime up here.
Yeah, no, we got sun right after it. It warmed back up again. It got a little cooler, but it was fine. We have not been. It's been beautiful. It's going to be beautiful today. It's supposed to be nice this weekend. Yeah, it's really strange for the beginning of February.
Okay. Yes, it has been. Hey, listen, do you know, I always seem to forget, do I not, that I think it's my turn. Let's talk about sponsors. Our sponsors are Team Texas. They're very, very close to Dallas Fort Worth Airport. Team Texas will arrange for you, our partners, an amazing day out for either you and your staff or your business customers or prospects or indeed anyone that you would like to invite along for a fantastic, fantastic day out. And by the way, I mean, David Starr and Kim, his wife as well, who's the business manager, very, very knowledgeable of our channel, very knowledgeable of all of the Verizon solutions and products. So what you can do is you can actually have David or Kim stand up in front or even just go around shaking hands. And they are the best advocates for us that you could possibly imagine. So get in touch with them or with us directly. And of course, they're very, very, very happy not only to sponsor this show, but also to give you a discount when you contact with them. All right. Shelley, while I've got the slides up, shall we talk about SMB days?
Yeah, so SMB days is not just. So, folks, SMB days are not just now, but they're until February 22nd. So, now is the time to make these calls. Back to you, Neil.
Oh, fantastic, Shelley. Thank you very much. Yes, yeah, I'm delighted that it's 2 weeks. I used to find it kind of funny they talk about SMB days week, and it doesn't really roll off the tongue. But anyway, yeah, it was too small a window, so this is much, much better. Much better indeed, in my opinion. Not so humble an opinion. So
Yes.
listen, I'm thinking we have got Bernard Breton from Adaptive Networks. He's waiting on the side just now. He's about to talk with us about SD-WAN, and I've got some a little bit more technical questions to ask him. But based upon the conversations I've had with him before, he's really pretty smart. So let's go and join him now, okay?
Great.
Bernard Breton from Adaptive Networks. Bernard, welcome.
Neil, thanks. It's a pleasure being here.
It's
I
a
love doing those sessions, the recorded sessions. I love engaging with the audience. So really looking forward to that.
good. I'm looking forward to this as well. So, since we last had a representative from Adaptive, we've actually gained something in the region of 25 new partners. So, I wonder, can we kick off, please, Bernard, with you just giving us an overview of what Adaptive does?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm the CEO of Adaptive Networks, and Adaptive Networks is a technology provider of SD-WAN managed SD-WAN and SASE solutions. And those SASE solutions, SD-WAN and SASE solutions, are really designed for sort of the lean IT environment for the customers, in many cases with multiple sites, but small branches who really don't have a lot of depth in terms of their IT team at the branch. And there's a ton of those businesses and enterprises out there. So we're really focusing on bringing a technology framework and a solution that is easy to use, easy to sell, easy to buy, and easy to manage, so that you don't get in a situation where really the IT complexity becomes an impediment to actually getting the right solution for your business. We've been doing that for many years. We've been putting a lot of effort in our products, who are sold exclusively through partners. And we certainly look forward to discussing that a little bit more here today.
Fantastic. Thank you, Bernard. So tell me, give me, let's just kick off so that people can picture it in their own minds. Give us an example of a typical business customer that our partner could sell to, and a typical example of what might be best to pitch to
Yeah,
that SMB or SME.
yeah, absolutely. So I think the when it comes to let's start with the need for digital reliability in a world where pretty much any business is really a digital business first. You might not realize it, but if you're, for example, a restaurant, or you might be a petrol station, doesn't matter who you are as a business. The reality is that you can't operate without a network. The network, the connectivity to those cloud applications, which are the underpinning of many of the systems that you use to run your business, are critical.
Mhm.
You cannot be hacked. They need to be available, and they need to be the right level of quality. So any business that relies on digital applications, which frankly I think is every business in the world, is a potential target. Now, that being said, I'll take the example. You could say the same about cars. Anybody that moves from point A to point B potentially is a buyer of a car, but it depends how that journey is going to look like. If it's going to be in the mud, you might not go for a sports car. If it's going to be on the highway in Germany, you might actually want to go for a car that goes very fast. And maybe a pickup truck is not the right product for that. So the same goes for SD-WAN. When it comes to SD-WAN, there are many solutions in the market, and they're not made equal. And in part because they address different markets. So the market that we address is specifically the businesses that have a lean IT, as I said, a lean IT strategy. And frankly, pretty much any business with less than, even large businesses now tend to have even more and more of a lean IT strategy. But in any business with small branches, okay, what I mean by this is that you have a small office with maybe a dozen employee or 100 employee max. You probably don't have an IT person and no IT specialist there. So these businesses are the kind of business that we target. Practically, what that is could be a small restaurant chain of 5 restaurants. It could be a group of healthcare clinics. It could be a retailer and a national retailer. It could also be a single office engineering firm. It can be really a lot of. There's no vertical specialization. There's really a need to have robustness, security, quality of service for the digital services that they use on a day-to-day basis in order to run their business.
Bernard, one of the things I think that our partners are going to worry about being asked is from the small business that actually knows a little bit about SD-WAN, software defined wide area networks, is why can they not simply rely upon your regular protections that come with the operating system? So MPLS and a firewall and such like. What's the advantage? Why would they pay a little bit extra for SD-WAN over what they already have?
Yeah. Well, first of all, so if we talk a little bit about there's really 3 elements here I'm going to talk about. Let's start with the one of reliability. Having a single internet connection, okay, is great when it works, but we've all seen network outages, okay, and when network outages happen, your business is down. So in order to be able to run your business reliably, you need to have at least 2 circuits, and that are both physically diverse and logically diverse. So there's 2 circuits with 2 different telcos with the
Yes.
different modes. That means if you have a fiber, don't go for a second fiber because it's probably running in the same place in the
Yes.
ground.
Yes.
The fiber cut is going to cut both at the same time, so that is not very diverse. But if you have a fiber and a backup LTE, for example, it's much less likely that it'll be cut at the same time. Now, if you take both from AT&T, for example, and if AT&T has a core switch problem, both will go down at the same time. Not great. So take one from Verizon, take one from AT&T to get a better reliability, a better diversity. So diversity is something that's really important, and I hear that all the time as an objection. People in conference. I do quite a few presentation at conferences, and they say, "Well, I've never had an internet problem. Why do I need SD-WAN for reliability?" First of all, you don't need SD-WAN only for reliability, but that's a different topic.
I do love that, Bernard. My car has never been stolen up until now, therefore it will never be stolen.
Exactly, and that's exactly the question I asked the audience. I said, "Do you have a house?" Everybody raised their hand, right? I said, "Do you have insurance on your house?" Everybody raised their hand. Then have your house burned? Nobody raised their hand. So why are you having an insurance on your house then? That's the same thing. I mean, the
Yes.
reality is that if you're going to wait for the catastrophic thing to happen to realize that you needed it, it's too late. You cannot go buy an insurance after the fact once your house is burned. Nobody's going to insure that cost, right? It's the same thing for there's a strong insurance play in anything that has to do with networking in terms of high availability, in terms of link diversity. And the same can be said about security, by the way. It's exactly the same thing about security. The fact that you haven't been hacked yet doesn't mean that you won't be. The fact that nobody actually took advantage of you through a spear phishing or a phishing attempt doesn't mean that it'll never happen. So the reality is that just relying on the internet, and then the second part is a firewall. So I'm going to basically bridge security. The internet is built on the notion that everything's allowed to go, and that's why we have firewalls. Firewalls are there to block that underlying principle that the internet is completely open to the world, and that, by the way, in the open to the world, that includes all of the actors in the world.
Fantastic. Bernard, I'd like just to interrupt you for a moment and just now that you've established, the overarching reason for our partners needing to be selling this cross-selling, upselling, could you just give them a quick cliff notes, a 101 on just what is SD-WAN?
Yeah, it's a great question. Maybe we should have started with that. It's a great one. So SD-WAN is a technology first, okay, and it can be there are different subtleties in terms of how it will be deployed. But the principle of SD-WAN is that it is essentially a network on a network. It is what we call an overlay network that uses the underlying links, the circuits, the DIAs, the MPLS, the LT, doesn't really matter what they are. They use them for the capacity to transport traffic, okay? But that network on a network is basically virtualizing their circuits as a single circuit, allowing SD-WAN to provide services that do not exist in the underlay networks. Those circuits, we call them underlay networks, such as, for example, seamless failover, such as encryption, such as quality of service, application shaping, um, application-based routing, all of those capabilities, okay, which are not available on the underlays, are available at the SD-WAN level. And that makes it possible to offer network services that are software defined, okay, and which are not existing in the underlays themselves. And that makes the SD-WAN network highly agile, highly secure, highly redundant, okay, and able to deliver better quality of service than any of the underlying circuits. And when you deploy SD-WAN, what you effectively do is that you create with that network on top of a network, allows that network on a network to really align with your business needs. Okay. It is not the same for everybody. You own those control. You decide, for example, what's important for you. For example, we're on StreamYard today. Well, we can prioritize StreamYard so that if there is a lack of capacity, there's contention on the network, StreamYard will be prioritized over maybe a backup that's happening at the same time. That's the kind of service that SD-WAN is able to do. Or if we're on a call like this and the primary link goes out, and then we will go back to an LT link as a backup, and we're not going to notice it because the system will do that, and the network hasn't changed. It's only the capacity that's gone down. So those are elements that what SD-WAN can really offer. So SD-WAN is really a software-based implementation of a network, which allows you to virtualize the network and provide additional services. And that's why really it is becoming the de facto standard for enterprises now when it comes to networking. 10 years ago, it was still novel. Now it's really becoming a little bit more mainstream. There's still a lot of customers that have not adopted it. I mean, I've got to say, telcos have been really good in tying their customer in long-term MPLS contracts. But the reality is that SD-WAN is so much better, so much more agile, can leverage low-cost connection and still deliver great security, and is so fast and easy to deploy.
Can I ask you, low cost connections? Could you expand upon that, please?
Well, if you look at the world, for example, enterprises used to use MPLS to interconnect their sites, right? The typical topology, flashback 20 years ago, a standard sort of enterprise network was I have a headquarter. That headquarter has a big firewall. The breakout to the internet is at the firewall, and all the branches are connected on the private network, aka MPLS. Could be other technology, but mostly MPLS to the branches. So it's what we call a hub and spoke. That model makes sense if all of your applications live in the data center and the internet is used from time to time. But the reality is that more than 95% of the traffic payload of enterprise is now to the internet. So that topology is not the right topology anyway. Why go to a headquarter over a private link than to just go to the internet when you can have gone to the internet straight away from the branch, first of all. But secondly, the price of MPLS is very high. And and even with some that have used sort of VPN over firewalls, they needed to use DIAs with public IP addresses that are provided by the telcos, also quite expensive. SD-WAN, a real SD-WAN, like the one from Adaptiv Networks, can use any type of connection, any broadband connection, just regular non-business internet, and just turn it into a real enterprise network. And that means that you can have connection that are 50, 70, $90 a month for the underlays, and that's good enough. You don't need to pay the $1,000 a month that a DIA will be for a couple of gigabit per second, or even more for a similar connection from an MPLS standpoint. So there's a strong merit in terms of cost, but that typically is for the slightly bigger enterprises, the smaller businesses that are relying on the internet. It's really about getting rid of the DIA, going with a regular broadband, no need for a firewall, just as the one, and you're good to go.
Let me ask you this question. If I am one of our partners and I'm speaking to a business that got maybe 15 to 25 staff in that business,
Yeah,
and I have 6 or 8 solutions that I want to try to pitch today if I have time. So my time is limited.
yeah, yeah.
How should I lead? What should I kick off with in order to begin a conversation about adaptive SD-WAN to see if I can pique their interest?
Yeah. So piquing the interest is an interesting because in a business with 20 to 70 people, and I've had conversation with those types of business quite regularly, they work with MSPs mostly. So they will follow the lead of the MSP. So you really need to work with the MSP as well as with the business itself. So that's the first thing I want to caveat here. If you try to sell directly to the business, you might not be talking to the right person because they might be outsourcing most of their IT decision to an MSP. But beyond that caveat, if you say I'm talking to the right person, let's just assume that you're talking to the right person. If you're not, then really there's very little tip I can give someone. You first need to talk to the right person, the decision maker. So if you're talking to the decision maker, you really need to lead with where's your business going and how can I help you with, from a technology standpoint, provide you the right sets of solution. Is, for example, network security a concern to you? Is network availability a concern to you? What would happen if your internet access was down for a day? Is that a problem? What if you were hacked? Is that a problem? And I would say that for most businesses, it is a problem. And even if they say they don't, they say, well, okay, how are you gonna, for example, receive your emails? How are you gonna place phone calls, voice over IPs over the internet? Like a lot of businesses don't realize how reliant they are on the internet in reality. Even a small restaurant, there's a small restaurant across the street from where I live here. Very small restaurant, that typical neighborhood restaurant. And there was a very large outage a couple of years ago here in Canada, at 16 hours outage from a nationwide carrier, one of the tier one carriers in Canada. Restaurant had to close its doors because 80% that day, because 80% of their business is Uber, and they can take the orders if they don't know what they are. And 95% of their customers pay with credit cards, but we couldn't process that. So the number of walk-ins paying with cash is now like literally zero. So there's no point having staff for the outside chance of a person that is a walking that's going to pay with cash going to come up, right? And but many businesses don't realize how digitally reliant they are. So I think you start with that conversation. Okay, what happens if? Now after that, I think you need to look at really SD-WAN in many cases being the fabric of of your access to digital services, because probably in that conversation with 4, 5, 6 other solutions, many of them will be digital in nature. You might be talking about backup, you might be talking about voice over IP, you might be talking um, about data storage, you might be talking about AI. By the way, we should go back to AI because that's a big one. But whatever you're talking about, okay, they are probably digital in nature, and
Mhm.
therefore SD-WAN becomes a fabric to those very applications. Let's not forget that. So
Yes,
the question is, if that piece is so important to you, then maybe you should have the right security and the right reliability and the right quality for it.
good point. You mentioned AI in particular there, Bernard.
Yeah, yeah. I think AI is my personal view, and I think I'll be proven right. Is probably the biggest thing happening on the planet since the days of industrialization. It is going to change completely how we operate as a society, and businesses are adopting AI massively right now. And AI is going to. I think we're going to see AI really become something that is embedded in a lot of applications. But one thing that is very clear is that most of the AI compute will be in massive data centers that are remote. So no internet means no access to AI. Even in embedded application, the application might even be running locally on your PC. When you open, for example, Copilot and ChatGPT, your AI is done on your PC. Of course, it's all in a cloud data center, right? The reality is those AR workloads are not on-prem. Now, there will also be another trend with regards to proximity AI. I'll get back to that, and that's actually a very interesting trend. But AI workloads are going to push a lot of demand for networking, and AI agents are not as patient as human. They expect results right away. Latency is going to matter. That in many cases we're talking about a significant amount of payload. We push big files to AI; they need to be uploaded very quickly. So suddenly, it used to be that it was 10 to 1 on the download to upload. Maybe it's going to reverse a little bit here with AI as we tend to push more than we receive. But the the fact that AI is just one more digital service that is inherently not running locally, and which you will depend upon to do a lot of different things in your business. And if you're, for example, if you're in a law firm, you might use it to do a very advanced research in your files. Those files might be in the cloud, probably are in the cloud. If
Mhm.
you are a teacher, you might use that to basically rate your students' grades. If you're in marketing, you're going to use AI to speed up the creation of digital pieces. But the reality is that those AI workloads are not on-prem.
Bernard, I know that you send lots of collaterals, data sheets, and brochures to Rick, and Rick is posting them on myconnectus.com, which, by the way, just to let you know, is behind our firewall. So they're not publicly viewable, it's especially just for our own partners. But
Mhm.
you know something, Bernard, I want to ask you just now, once our partners have pitched to a business customer, probably either a new one or someone they've known for many, many years, and this business customer wants to know more, what should they do next?
Well, next is really to reach out to Adaptive Networks. We have a person, of course, that's in charge of the relationship with ConectUS. We have a number of solution engineers that will be more than happy to jump on a call to maybe demo the solution, maybe answer questions about the solution, maybe do a proof of concept if or a try and buy if need be. But we have a team that will support the ConectUS partners in really sort of getting to the finish line in terms of getting the deal done. And then after that, those same people are going to be helping with the deployment with our deployment team. They'll be the conduit with the deployment team for the deployment.
Perfect. Thank you, Bernard. And I know that you and I are getting together over the next few days. We're going to record a longer video on demand. So we'll make sure that everyone watching just now knows how to get in touch with us and see that video on demand. But for now, Bernard, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Really been a pleasure talking with you.
Anil, it's been a pleasure. The Adaptive team is working tirelessly to make a product that is great, a product that is easy to use, easy to sell, easy to deploy, and that really provides sort of that perfect SD-WAN solution for those customers with a lean IT strategy. And certainly look forward to many conversations with the ConectUS partners and ConectUS customers. Thank you
And
again.
I look forward to talking with you again real soon. Take care.
Pleasure. Have a good day there. Bye.
Man, that was interesting, Shelley, wasn't it? My goodness me. And of course, I will actually. I think it's either early next week. I can't remember exactly. I am going to be interviewing Bernard again. We're going to have a longer session, and we're going to put it up on myconnectus.com and of course the
Great.
MyConnectus app. And so you can all at home, all the partners can then go and watch video on demand a longer half hour, 45 minutes that I'll spend with Bernard asking him a few more deeper diving questions about SD-WAN. But for now, in addition to SMB days that you so eloquently presented a few minutes ago, Shelley, let's just share the usual summary slides. There are two of them at the moment. So even though, yeah, the scene coming soon, it's already started, silly people. But in addition to SMB days, we also have the ongoing first quarter offered as well. And there are two slides at the moment to summarize these. If you're seeing them for the first time, get in touch with myself or your favorite channel manager to connect us, and we will be happy to send you copies of these. Well, Shelley, that went by quickly. That was a nice, easy episode, was it not?
Yes, it was. It really was. I think maybe we're getting spring fever and we're getting
Yeah,
that
I
extra
think
energy.
yes,
I know
yes,
we're
I
getting more light out of the
yeah.
day. We're getting more light.
I'm full of Viv and vinegar. Yeah, I'm not going to say the other word, okay? Viv and vinegars.
Yes,
Yes, I'm
that's
getting
okay.
my.
Yes.
I love the face you put on there. Fantastic. All right, we're back again in 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks. I'm
Yes.
sorry. I find
Two.
that I have to go and pull out that original version of Total Recall. I read the book, by the way. Oh my goodness, who was the author? Philip K. Dick. Philip K. Dick was the author of the original book, Total Recall. He did Minority Report as well. Also Blade Runner. Yeah, so
Wow.
yeah, man, he's been dead for many years, but yeah, a lot of his stories were made into movies. But I'm going to go back and watch the old Arnold Schwarzenegger one once again because it was a lot of fun. Okay, so I'll report back to you. Same time.
Okay.
Yeah,
Better.
let's. Yeah, you take care, Shelley. Have a great 2 weeks. I'll
Okay,
see
take
you
care.
soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye.